Maximum warp.
Hello, hello. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Party Wipe, episode 20. We're making a roguelike deck builder where you draft your own RPG party. How's everyone doing? Note the new title screen. Let's see if that works. Let's see if this gets people a little more interested on YouTube. Let's hope this thumbnail looks better. We gotta see. We gotta do something. Switch to our co-working radio here. All right. Oh, I forgot to turn my camera on. Embarrassing. Oh, double embarrassing. I'm just a mess today. Sorry for the late start here. How's it going? Hey, Rhiannon. Nanigans, Lost Sleep, No Jewel, the gang's all here. Hey, Jacob. How's everyone doing? All right, it's the last day of June. We're officially a month into this project. Definitely behind where I would like to be, but making progress. I just finished spending the weekend attempting to refactor something, trying it out like 3 different ways, and then changing my mind and setting almost all of it back to where it was. So we're not going to do that again. That was my lesson on this project, is don't refactor. Just whatever I do, whatever works, just accept it. Just accept it, leave it. Otherwise, we're going to spend the whole rest of the year just refactoring things. So, lesson learned. This is not your dream game project. Not your dream game project. We're in okay shape. We're in okay shape, though. What, did you miss the last couple episodes? Not a ton. You wouldn't refactor a game jam mid-jam. More fool me. More fool me. All right, let's get a night card. So here's where we're kind of at, No Joel. You can play cards out of your hand. Just playing an equipment card by itself doesn't do anything. But if we play a night card, the game is like, ooh, play it here. I might need to make that a little more prominent. But it's like, play it here. And so when you move a card into a playable state, in this case, it's a deployment zone where we can deploy initially. This is the initial deployment state at the beginning of a turn or a combat. It's like the left third. The enemies will deploy to the right third. And so I can drop my night card. I can do all my selection stuff. I got all that hooked up, so we can select here. We can select here. We can go back here. We can... I might need to change the click away thing, because what we need to do today is implement movement, and we have to decide how that's going to work. But I could play another knight card, level up my knight. You can see it would gain XP and a level. Bop. Leveled him up. We could play a spear. So now when you play an item, it will highlight the characters that can wield the item. And by highlight, I mean it does those little arrows. Which is maybe, again, too subtle, but I think it's good. So I can put some stuff on this guy. I think I need to redo the equipment pages. I don't think I like my model of equipment. Like, I think I want to change this, but I'll do that later. I'm gonna put a spear on. So now we got a spear. They populate their little character sheet, and they're selectable. And so if we get another, we could replace our spear with a maul, or we could add a shield. We'll add a shield. So you can drag equipment over and play it. What I want to do is I want to level this spear up. So I'm going to play another level 1 spear on this guy. So you'll notice we can level the spear up. And now if I replace the spear, like with this sword, bop. Now you see a level 2 spear in the discard. So this is how we like thin our deck and like level up our gear. It doesn't do anything. I need to hook up some more signals. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at. We can equip items. We can play units. We can level up units. We can equip items. We can level up items. I need to decide what to do with abilities. I think I'm coming back around to abilities being cards. Like abilities like Fireball. I don't know what a knight's abilities would have, but like, whatever. I think I'm coming back around. I was initially thinking of having specific abilities per ability slot, or making it so you chose the ability when you leveled up, and then that character, that version of the character with that card just had that ability slot there. I'm coming back around to the idea of abilities as cards. That you'd play them. You'd play abilities once you've started unlocking slots. Like a level 2 would have 1 unlocked slot here, which I have not rendered correctly yet. But yeah, I want to change the sword. I want to create more room to describe the effects. Like, I think I want to get rid of this active versus passive distinction. I might put something up here that says what its active ability is. Like this one would be a melee attack. Instead of having these semi-clickable buttons or whatever. We'll have to decide. How's everyone doing? Will abilities contain, like, all attacks? No. So, they'd be like special attacks. So you could attack with a sword, or you could just attack with your fists, like if you don't have a... So the sword would, like, augment your attack, and maybe it would provide you, like, a benefit, like that spear we discarded. If we took that spear back, maybe this spear has reach or something like that. So if you attack with the spear, instead of just with your fists, you get, like, a longer range or something. But yeah, I need to figure out how I want to make that work. Today is movement, but I think we're going to start working on using actions and executing actions very soon. Oh, it remembers. Do I like that? I think I might. It remembers items you've selected. Kind of like that. Yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. Hey, Nanigans. We're under a bit of a crunch. Ooh, and then you're off for a few days. That's nice. That's nice. Hey, Sapphire. How's it going? So yeah, I want to really get cooking on this project here. I did a bit of back of a napkin calculations in terms of dates that I wanted to hit. Yeah, there's some aggressive stuff here. I think I'm going to schedule out the first sprint, which is like the sprint before we get the the most simple public alpha we're going to have out. And I want to get that sprint laid out so that we actually have a to-do list that we can look at. Instead of just... So that way I know that I don't have time to spend a weekend refactoring, you know? 'Cause right now I'm just kind of working on the next thing, which is nice up until the point where you have a deadline. Then it is not so nice. But yeah, I think this turned out okay, the like playing of items. This is okay. I like the token thing, where the card becomes a token. I like that a lot. Yeah, I'm a little worried there isn't enough card depth with just items and heroes, which is why I'm considering going back to abilities being cards. And so when you play a unit, you're like, you have to play their abilities too, if you want to do more than just their basic attacks. I think that'd be neat. So we'll start thinking about that. But what I really want to do today is I want to do movement. And we are going to look back at some other code of ours to hopefully help us with this. We're going to be using A-Star Grid 2D. Normally I use A-Star 2D. I don't know why I haven't done Grid 2D in the past. Why I preferred A-Star 2D. So I'm going to think about that for a minute. You can mark areas as impassable in a grid, I thought. Fill solid region. Oh. Calling update is not needed. Interesting. We can also change the weight. I'd like to just fill it out for one tile. But yeah, we're going to try to get things moving around today, is my goal. Is point solid? Oh, set point solid. That's what I want. So yeah, A-Star Grid 2D is neat because you just need to set a region and it creates it for you and you just don't have to do very much. I don't need to create points and connect them. I think I can disallow diagonal movement, which we would. Diagonal mode. 0. Always. Never. Yeah, so we'll just switch that to never. Playtest in a month? Yeah, soon. Soon. I probably want to show like a basic combat loop in a couple of weeks. A few weeks. Looking at my calendar here. And then in about 12 weeks, less than 12 weeks, in like 11 or so weeks, I've got a big, well, even less than that. When's my in-person playtest? So we got one. We have 8 weeks until an in-person playtest. So I need people to be testing before then. We got 8 weeks before a little in-person playtest. And then I have another 4 weeks after that for a bigger, I'd say bigger, for an even more important in-person playtest. And hopefully between those two playtests, we've got the game up. People can be playing it. We're trying to get a demo out by the end of the year. Sometime in December. We want a demo. We want an actual Steam demo out. So there's lots to do. There's a lot to do. So yeah, I'm going to start making some sprint to-do lists and stuff. That's the only way we're going to stay on top of this thing. Looks like it's starting to come together. It looks like it. Yeah. So the cards are not character specific anymore, or did you just remove the knight symbol? No, yeah, so I removed that concept. That's probably the biggest change, no Jewel, is now there's no concept of character suits anymore. I still might make the player pick like 4 heroes at the beginning of a run to be the pool from which they choose. Otherwise, you're going to have a lot of otherwise you're going to have a very hard time. Because you could imagine that as you unlock more characters, the game just gets harder because you get offered this wider variety of units and stuff and abilities. And it would also create the possibility where, like, you could maybe play, like, more than 4 heroes at a time. Like, you could have, like, a crazy number. Like, if I just made it pure drafting and, like, there's 15 characters in the game. So the game would feel very different when you're drafting 15 characters versus 4. So I want to have some consistency. So I still think you're going to have to set. You're like, these are the 4 characters that I want to run. And then the system will probably be like, okay, what are all of the proficiencies that those characters have? And then the item cards that it offers you and the ability cards only work for those specific characters. We'll have to, there might be suits to character abilities, because yeah, there isn't really a way around that, is there? Unless we just have, like, I'll have to think about that. I have to think about character abilities more. Character abilities might have suits still. I don't really know a way around that. The timeline for your demo starts tomorrow. What does that mean? Like the timeline when you start measuring the time until you need a demo out. Because I'm also using a July 1st start date for my super aggressive schedule that I'm about to kick into here. When is a good time to start with a Steam page? I think people would say as early as possible. Certainly before the demo. Because of the funding, it starts tomorrow. Nice, nice. I would say Steam page before demo, definitely, as early as possible. A lot of people will tell you need a trailer up before you make a Steam page. I don't know if I totally agree with that. I think it depends on where if you're going to be driving traffic to Steam predominantly, like I hope to, like through, like, you know, YouTube content and stuff. Like, if most of the traffic to your page comes from an external source, I don't think you necessarily need a trailer. But if it's like, if your only exposure is going to be through Steam, you definitely, like, follow a bunch of, like, best practices and, like, try to have a proper page with, like, a trailer and everything as soon as possible. Just do the Derek Liu definition of a trailer, though. Just do, like, 30 to 60 seconds of gameplay without any, like, you know, without any stupid stuff like splash screens or narrative or whatever. All right, so movement. So we're going to do movement. We're going to look at an old project to give us some idea. We're going to look, because I've made a plugin that does something like this. And we're going to kind of just look at the way I've structured it to just get some ideas. For you, it's from your social media, so you're wondering the same. Yeah, if you expect to mostly be pointing people there from other sources, I wouldn't stress the trailer thing. I would just get it up as soon as possible. I'm going to try to put my Steam page up the same time I put out my little alpha, which should be in just about 11 or 12 weeks here. Oh my glob. Mimir bites with the raid. I wasn't able to substitute all my sound effects because apparently it's much easier to find Star Trek sound effects than it is to find anything else, especially D&D. How's it going? Where is the gold? No, we're in search of gold. We're working on a little roguelike deck builder where you draft an RPG party and then battle it out on a little turn-based battle map. So you play your knight. You equip them. You equip your knight. We'll equip him with a rusted sword. We have another sword in hand. We'll level up that sword. Now we have a leveled up sword. Give him some boots. Give him some shield. Give him a chest plate. And then battle it out on this map against, you know, enemies and skeletons and stuff. What are you up to? How's it going? How was your stream? Right now, what we're trying to do today is get movement. We don't really have movement. We can play the cards, but we can't really get the little guys on the battle map to do anything yet. So that's our next task here. Thanks, Mimir. Good, getting some things done. You're building a sci-fi horror FPS. Ooh, that sounds good. Sounds good. Yeah, I don't know if this click off thing is gonna work for us. Oh, Rhiannon Journey subscribing with Prime for 16 months. Incredible. Thank you, Rhiannon. Ship it. Yeah, I don't know if I want to do this click off to unselect thing. I want to have single button controls because that makes the touch interface much easier, and amongst other things. So I kind of want it to be you click your guy, and now when I'm cursoring around, it will like show an arrow from them.
Maximum warp.
Out to wherever. I want that. But then if you just... Yeah, I don't know. Then I don't really know how to unselect. Maybe if you click on yourself, it unselects. That's probably what I'll do. Might do that now. Yeah, we're going back to just spaghetti code and just the first solution of everything. Man, I so deeply regret losing a whole weekend just to a failed refactor. You wouldn't refactor during a game jam, as Rhiannon said. So we're not gonna do that anymore. All right, so if input is action just released, tilefigs has. We're gonna say if tilefigs has this and fig selected. Is equal to, no, is not equal to tilefigs cursor map. Let me give you that shout out before I forget, Mimir. Thanks for the raid again. Hey Remus, how's it going? Today you mostly made some Blender stuff. You placed everything in Godot. Tomorrow will be some light things to be done. Nice, nice. Today's my last, I think, particularly unstructured day here. I think we're going to really try to get a schedule together and really just start to be aggressive about it. I think I'm just going to focus on the timeline up until the demo at the end of the year. The largest plane in the entire world just like buzzed past me. And I don't live anywhere near an airport. Concerning. All right, so if this and this do this, else do this. How's this week's stream schedule? It should be standard. Shouldn't be any surprises this week. Might be a long stream on Friday because I have it off work, which is nice. Might try to make up my missed stream last week. Okay, maybe we'll do that. Oh. Should probably say fig selected is null. What else am I doing this? Okay. I think that'll be okay. I really do want single button controls. I know I could do right click to like execute. I don't want to do that. So now if we click on the same character that we had selected, it unselects. Okay, that's nice. Now I need to undo this. If you click out, it unselects. Input.isAction just released select. If tilefigs has cursor map and fig selected is not equal to tilefigs. Ah. I think I need to break this up. You Friday off also? You want to treat it like a normal workday but do game dev? Will you do that? Yeah, we'll see. It's not supposed to be a particularly nice weekend in terms of weather, so I think it'll be relatively easy. Okay, so if it's not equal, then yeah. Yeah, we do have to break this up like that. That should give me the behavior I want. Now we can do click for move. Oh, that still does that for some reason. That works. This also works. So we can select from the party roster as well. But I don't want it to do this. So why is it doing that? Is cursor inbounds, if input is action just released. If tilefigs has cursor map, do this. I actually don't see how we could be getting to this outcome. A little strange. So if there is a figure here, great. If there isn't, we shouldn't do anything. We should just pass out of this without causing any further things to occur. It might be unselecting here, I guess. If not fig selected or not tilefigs.has. Oh yeah, that's what's happening. I might actually just totally get rid of this case entirely. All right, so now we can play this guy. Now we can click off. Okay, and we retain collect selection unless we click on them again. Okay, yeah, this is what I want. This is what will allow us to do single button movement. So if we look at single button movement and action, so this will be like if you're moving around here, you'll have some set of move resources and it will draw out. It will trace a path to where you're trying to go and it will draw out as far as the path that you can reach in terms of your move. And then if you go over an enemy or something, it will auto attack when you reach there or whatever. So it'll like move and attack. Assuming you do it right over an enemy. I have another color for that too. What we're really concerned about right now is building the path network. And tracing the path image. So I have this project. Does this work? What happens? Oh, I don't even have a thing here. So we have a plugin that we wrote that does this, but it does it in a way that I don't necessarily want to totally emulate here. So we're gonna just kind of lift. We're gonna just kind of pull what we want out of this, including that sweet icon probably. Kind of want to copy this. Kind of want this icon. Doesn't look like I have an A-sprite file for it. Oh no, I wouldn't. Why would I? Hey David, how's it going? Thanks for holding down the YouTube. Throw this in here. We'll call this our we can probably call it our tile map A-star 2D icon still. So I have a pathfinding like tile, like auto tile map layer thing I made. Is that going to be useful to us? I don't think it's quite going to be super useful because I actually want, what I really want here is I want like, I want arrows. This doesn't exactly provide arrows. I might borrow our connectivity and our path tracing files, but I will probably adopt them. So they basically let us paint a path network. This path network has directionality to it. I guess we won't. Like these arrows show that you can go from this square over, but it doesn't necessarily mean you can go back. So we aren't going to really capture that. However, this by itself is not quite what we want either. We want ones with an arrow, which I guess the arrow is just the thing at the end, huh? It's just a little bit that we put at the end. So yeah, I gotta make a little tile map thing for this. Let's do that, I guess. What size is this? 32 by 16, so it's 16 by 16, so we could do 64 by 64, but we need arrows, and we don't really have all of these. This doesn't quite make sense. We have to figure out how we're going to represent that. Let's start with 128 by 64 though. It's probably fine. Let's get our nice color. Hey, Lenny. The arrow is the whole thing. You're talking about the arrowhead. Successfully technicality'd here. Technically, we are doing the whole arrow, but I am talking about the arrowhead. Like, we're not just drawing the arrowhead, but your point is taken. How's it going, Eleni? Let's grab this color. Grab my yellow. And grab our orange too, just in case we need it. So what we're talking about is adding a path tracer for when we got a character here and the character is moving around. We want a path trace, which I've had a path tracer I've built before, but we didn't do the arrowhead part, so we're adapting it. It also was an isometric, whereas this is not isometric. So that's what we're working on. We're working on building a little pathfinding network, and this is a roguelike deck builder where you draft an RPG party, and then, you know, there's also going to be a battle system associated with that. We figured out a lot of the card stuff, card interactions, and we're mainly working on the battle system right now. So let's go into the battle map layer. I have this pathing tiles thing. I might rename this path grid layer or something. Actually, we need a couple layers, don't we? We need a layer that describes, kind of like what we've got here. We need one layer that describes the connectivity or the pathability of the thing, which we can just read in and change as we need it. And then we want another tile map layer that is just drawing the paths. Unless we think we could just use some of our existing layers. We have a few outline layers. I think I want to just do another one. So we'll call this path. I had a word for it. Well, we can have a trace. We can have a trace, path trace layer. We could have another one for the actual pathability. I had a name in mind and I can't think of what it would be. Yo, Joel, you took my approach. The last couple of days, you made a small desktop game tool to prepare for your game and check out the basics of how you'd make a desktop game in Godot. That can't be my approach. But that sounds good. That sounds really good. Here, let's call it the path grid layer and the path line layer or something like that. Make some scripts. Make a path grid layer script. Path line layer. Where did I put that little file here? There it is. I'll call this a path icon. Is this imported correctly? Scale with editor. You mean switching to making a smaller scale project before moving on to the bigger one? Yeah, I think that's a good strat. Clearly I've taken it too far, but I think it's a good strat. But in your case, the bigger project is probably the scope of Party Wipe. Yeah, that's the problem for me. Party Wipe is not actually that small of a game. Now that I'm becoming more familiar with what's involved. But we're still gonna manage. We're still gonna manage. We might end up in June next fest and not, you know. Maybe we won't end up in February next fest. I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to see. But regardless of what we do, the plan is still demo out by the end of the year. That's the most important thing. What we do next year will depend on how well received the demo is and how much time we think we need. Because the thing is, the real marker of this, and I was mocking this up a little bit, and I actually think I'm going to make a change. Something here. Maybe you're... Yeah, we have 15 characters. 4 of them will be playable in the demo, and we have 11 more. I think what we want to do is we want to do 6 more characters for early access. And then do 5 more for the 1.0. And that might flip. It might be... Originally, I thought I'd do 5 more for early access and then 6 for 1.0, but... It's going to be... it's a lot. It's a lot. Because it's not just going to be, oh, it's a character with all their items and cards and abilities and stuff. It's also... There's content associated with these characters. Like, a lot of them are mid-bosses, so there's going to be quest lines. There's going to be, like, dialogue. There's going to be, like, you know... There's going to be stuff that relates to these characters, so they're not just a pile of cards. But it's going to... We'll see. So if we do the demo, you know, in the next 5 months... or 4 months would be ideal for me. If we do the demo in like 4 months and it's, you know, a month per character, it's going to be tough to push out the early access in less than, you know, 5 or 6 months from the demo. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. It's all dependent. We're just going to keep our eye focused on the immediate goal, which is 4 characters, demo, complete experience. We're not going to worry too much about the longer term planning. Yeah, the only thing that locks in my scope is the fact that I kind of know what my art assets are. Okay, well, in good news, the number of views to the YouTube video do seem to be higher than normal with the old thumbnail, so I think the thumbnail is working. I think I still have the problem of I'm not actually very interesting. We need to get the game further along before I think people are willing to hang out. But that's good. It's good news. I think the little title card the little thumbnail refresh is helping. Now I just need to make the content more interesting. So we have this whole... So I'm trying to understand how my previous system worked here. We have our A-Star 2D system. So this is mostly I'm building... Oh, so this is why I did it this way because I did the A-Star 2D way because I wanted to have directionality. I wanted certain tiles to let you go, you know, one way but not back the other way for some reason. I guess I just wanted more flexibility with this one. I wanted you to be able to make more complicated connections. But for what we want to do today, A-Star Grid 2D is going to be our friend. But I still will probably follow this along to some extent. But yeah, let's make our arrows. Make our arrows. Size, how chunky are these arrows going to be? I think they're going to be pretty chunky, honestly. I think they'd be something like that. Well, let's see how I'm going to do this. This would be 0. I don't think we need a 0 tile, but this would be back 1. This would be forward 1. This might be too chunky, but it kind of looks right for what we're trying to do. Back 1, forward 1. And then we'll do the usual thing we do, where we'll do down 1, and then up 1. Would I not want to... I want to move this over here like that. And then, so can we do this methodically? So can we like combine these here? This obviously doesn't totally work, but is this, can we do it like this? Can we do it like this? Because this I understand. Thank God we have something familiar like auto tiling. And then the only real question for me is the arrow part. Excuse me, the arrowhead part. Eyes wide, mouth open on thumbnails usually work. No, we're saving that for like the edited devlogs. We're gonna do a big one. There needs to be a big devlog. There needs to be at least 2, maybe 3. The big one, the first big one needs to be our demo launch, and it needs to be like the clickbaitiest thing ever. It needs to be like from idea to Steam demo in 6 months or something like that. Steam demo from scratch in 6 months, although scratch is maybe misleading. I made a Steam demo in 6 months, you know, something like that. Jacob, you're the most rough bug with your brain cycle yesterday. Oh. I don't know what you were dealing with, but that sounds horrible. All right, so is something like this okay? What would the arrow actually look like for these? So we could do this, and then we could do this with arrows, and is this literally all I need? Like, is this sufficient? could probably pack this better, but I don't really care about packing. I care about like how I think about it. So this would be like, the arrow for this would be like this. The only real question is, do I want to like zhuzh it up? That's the wrong color. Oh, maybe it's not. Maybe that's not the wrong color. Oh, that won't work, will it? I can do that here. Actual Intelligence releases game in 6 months. Look, we're not going to do that. We're not going to release a game in 6 months. That's crazy. But yeah, something clickbaity like that. Something about Steam demo. I don't know if I love this, but it'll be an okay initial version. What do I do for the other UI? We have some arrows. We have some arrows in the turn order sprite. What do these arrows look like? They're 3 tall. I kind of like that better. Well, these ones are 3 tall as well. This line is just maybe too thick. Oh, maybe not. Maybe it's just right. I have to decide how to think about this, because the way this works is it's coming from the left and going to the right. And this is coming from the right and going to the left. And I don't know what I want to look it up based on. Do I want to look it up based on the direction it's going, or... And if I do that, then I'm probably going to turn these around. Yeah, probably what I'm gonna do. Oh my glob, are we getting raided again? Actually, I like it the way it looks better here. We'll do it like this. Manisha Game Dev, thank you. Thank you for raiding in here. Raid alert. Hide the code. How's it going? Welcome in. We're working on a roguelike deck builder where you draft an RPG party. This is a pretty new project. We're only about a month into it. But you have cards, characters, equipment, weapons. I broke something. We broke something recently. I don't know what it was. Yeah, it's not. It's closing. It's closing and deselecting. I see what it's doing. How's it going? How was the stream? Neat. Thanks, TARDIS. Appreciate you. I think I know what I did that broke this. So when I'm dropping a card component, it's closing the character sheet and unselecting the character. I know exactly where that's happening. That is happening. It's weird that it's happening. Oh, because I don't know how to track whether there's a card drop. Ooh. What's the debugger upset about? Pathing tiles. Oh, fair enough. Hey, thanks for the follow. Looks really cool. You got to run. No worries. Let me give you that shout out. Appreciate you. Hope everyone's having a great day today. Hope to see you again soon. All right, so our problem is we're down in this branch. Cursor is in bounds. Is action just released? Select. Halfigs does have this. Card drop. The card has just dropped is what I think has happened. What we could do is we could set like a flag and then reset it every frame. I think that's the only way we can do this. I tried to do this more cleverly with just signals and like not having to monitor things on a per frame basis, but I couldn't do it right because of the way the play mats work for the card drops. I wasn't able to do the thing I should be able to do, which is to like keep lower ones from triggering, like getting basically, I couldn't get the input consumption to work right. And it's a plugin, so, you know, what are you going to do? Are you going to rewrite the plugin, or are you just going to kind of work around it? And the answer is you work around it. So yeah, let's just temporarily deal with this as we head into ads here. Hey Strivent, how's it going? Cannot get over that. Yeah, so we're just gonna, when we drop a card, we are just gonna set. I'm just gonna set that. We can save this and not card dropped. And then we'll just set the card dropped. We can even set it in here. Actually, no, we can set it here. That's a really stupid way to do it, but you know, it might work. Hey, Kemoth. Hope I pronounced your name right. How's it going? Sorry, you joined right into ads. If you're still with us, hope you're doing good. All right, will this work? That worked. Will this work? Okay, good. Okay. Resolved. Oh, there was one way in which it didn't work. It reset. It reset the visual of the selection. How did it do that? Somebody reset the selected tile. Ah, you're clearing. Maybe. Is what's happening. No, that shouldn't. Shouldn't be doing anything. Where else are we clearing the selected tiles? Let's find out. We are doing it there. Party roster tab closed. On party roster tab opened. We are doing it there, but I don't think that's it. We are doing it in clear all tile outlines. On clear hand dragged. Oh, we don't want to do that. I don't think we want to do this. Let's see if that was the cause. I wonder if I have a high DPI screen. It's reasonable. It's like a 30-something inch 4K monitor. Maybe 32 inch. 32-inch 4K. I don't know what the DPI of that is. Or technically, you know, that's pixels per inch, but... yeah, I don't think you can see that quite on Twitch. Because Twitch, I'm limited to 1080p. But over on YouTube, you can see us in full, glorious 4K. Only a few side effects. How's it going? Happy Tuesday. Your Windows tile bar looks very small. It is. It is. Doesn't need to be big. Believe me, I'm an old man, and I do all of my, you know, text is very large. And I definitely blow up, like this is, the display here is like very large. I can't see when it's too small. Ooh, okay, so that's fine. But let's see what happens here. Yeah, okay, that's where it's happening. So what I need to do is one of two things. I think what I'm going to do is this. And then I think the one use of this function that we currently have, I think I'm going to take that out. I think I'm just going to do this. Well, that doesn't... Let's see. No, that didn't fix it. Our little selection thing is getting cleared when I drop a new item. I mean, it's not now. What if I do this? Oh, it's not being selected as part of this for some reason. That's okay. Okay, so we can go back to the way this was. Now what we need to do is when there is a card drop, we need to actually highlight the selection. If card is... I'm playing that card dropped. Card is hero, card res. If card is equip card res. Yeah, we just need to set the... We can just set this. I think. We'll see if that fixes this for us. We should definitely be marking it as selected. Here's a night card. Play the night card. Crash. Selected tile. Set cell. Fix it. Well, duh. More fool me. You can just say cursor map. This is what happens when you just copy and paste things. It has to be cursor map, right? Like, it can't be anything else. Does this game have a Steam page yet? No! We've been working on this game for about a month. Hoping to have a Steam page up in a few more months, along with a public alpha. Yeah, we've only been working on this for 1 month. All right. Okay, now it's working. Now it's all working. Now we're maintaining. Oh, but fig selected is not being set. We should do that as well. Character figs, tile figs, character figs. Say fig selected equals character fig. This might have unintended consequences, but I think this fits what we're trying to do here. How do we do this? Spent party figs. Yeah, this. Well, it's not the fig hovered. Fig selected is... It would be party figs. No, it would be tile figs. We'll say tile figs. Cursor map. Let's see if this works. I'm just trying to maintain our selected state correctly. as cards are getting played and stuff. And then cards are getting played on top of characters. So this character is selected. The only way to unselect it is to either go back into the party roster, click the party roster tab, click on the character. And so if I'm already selected and I play a weapon on it, it's still selected. Yeah, good. And then if I'm not selected and I play an item on it, I'm selected. Okay, okay. I think we closed the gap. We can level up this mall. I have mixed feelings about... Something happened just now. So I did this. So this was selected. I did this. When I click this, it's already considered selected. Okay, that's another error. That's another error. So that's a player hand card dragged issue. We need to do all of this, and we need to say fig selected equals null. Probably also say fig hovered equals null. Fig is for like figurine or minifig, you know what I mean? That's what I mean when I say fig. So we drop this. Now if I unselect it, drop a weapon on it, it's still selected, like that. Now what do I do this? All right, that looks all good. That is all basically what I want. We need to rethink these equipment pages. I think I might move the level and XP fields somewhere. Or what I do is I get rid of this active and passive button tab thing. I don't like this. This feels like the weakest part. I don't know if I totally need to do this copper, silver, gold thing either. I could probably have just a single field that was like value. But I kind of like it. I kind of like it. I don't love that there's zeros. The coins, the way they're drawn. I could probably switch to val and just put everything over on the left here. And then have more room. We could even have a use button or something. That might be what we do. We might put a use button here in the upper right. Move the level in the XP down over here. Get rid of these icons and just replace it with like val. I don't know. But yeah, I need to rethink the item pages, the equipment stuff. Right now we're working on our little movement arrows for pathing around here. Place icon with text. That's what we're thinking. Instead of having it be gold 0, silver 0, bronze 0, have just one field and it'll just say value and it'll say whatever. It'll just say VAL, val. That's in line with what we have everywhere else. We don't actually use iconography anywhere else. So this is kind of an outlier already. And it would free up all of this space for the descriptor, for the item description. And it would give us even a button here up in the right that could be a use button, which would be very useful for items that can't necessarily be used in an attack, like a food item or a potion. Or it could also highlight just when you're about to use something too. Like if you click on someone and you're hovering over. Like, because imagine if you had some boots that were like once per combat, I don't know, double your movement or something. Or when you take a hit, you, on your next turn, get 1 extra movement or something like that. Like we'll need some way of seeing whether something has been used or whatever. I don't know. I might just call it act so that you know. It'll just be a little label called act and it'll be a button and it will line up with your actions here. That could be good. think I'm going to try that tonight. Or today. We're already an hour in. We got a lot to do. You do like icons? Icons are nice. Icons are nice. Bye, Sapphire. We're not making a lot of art for this game. We're pretty much using an asset pack for all of the sprites. The menu, the UI I made myself. But we have a limited set of sprites and icons and stuff. And it's not like I can't make my own, like we're making our arrows here. But I'd rather not. If I could avoid it. All right, let's keep going here. I think this will be okay. Okay, so how does this all work then? Okay, so there's gonna be down facing arrow here. Like this. Like that. I may or may not have the... I might get rid of this orange. I don't know if I love the orange. I kind of like it, though. The other thing we could do is, like, use it a lot. I don't want to do that. Might get rid of the orange. Not sold on it. I guess the arrow could be thinner if we stick with the orange, we could make the arrow thinner by doing something like this. I don't really want to do this, but it might be good. Have a pointier arrow. I guess it wouldn't always help. All right, so how do these work? So we've got these, and then we've got the arrowed version of these. How do I handle this? Well, I guess I don't. I actually don't. Because a movement will only ever terminate in the center of a tile, so these actually don't make any sense. These wouldn't exist. So can I actually just store these better? Maybe. I probably shouldn't worry about being clever. Oh, this is the next tile. So we want to know where we're coming from and where we're going next. All right, take it easy, Arneo. Oh, I need straight lines too, huh? I need some straight lines that run all the way across. I can just put these at the end here. I don't think anyone would care. Are there any others that I need? I don't think so. I think I would put these in the other direction. Not quite sure how to think about these yet, but I think I would have it like this. Because this is, we start here and we go left. This is, we start here and we go right. This is, we are going all the way across. Doesn't matter which way. Same thing with this, but for vertical. This is like you're going either this way and not that way. We're going to have some kind of mapping. It's fine. And then this is we start here and we go this way. That's consistent at least. This is fine. This doesn't matter. Tile. I'll say path line, sprite, atlas. Actually, let's use the whole buffalo. We have 2 extra spots on this, and we need just 2 more, which we can use for the grid to mean pathable or not pathable. Tempted to just use these 2 colors. Like this. That's all you need, really. Let's save this as something else. Save as. That should be sufficient. So we need to build the network, then we need to get stuff moving. You could move the tiles on the left side, for example, so it's one long line. Yeah. Yeah. I try to use an intuitive system so that it maps intuitively on the atlas coordinates for the tile set, but this isn't going to fulfill that requirement either way, so whatever. Could we have done that, though? Yeah, I guess we could have, huh? That would look neat. Is there a reason I wouldn't do that? Yeah, why not? Although now I'm in a position where that's going to be hard to do. Yeah, it looks nice. It looks nice. We'll do it. We'll do this one the same. If it doesn't matter, let's at least like do what looks cool. There we go. That's the most aesthetically pleasing. We could almost use the terrain system for this. The thing is, the terrain system doesn't understand directionality. So it wouldn't be able to tell the difference between arrowhead termination and just a flat termination. But yeah, this is fun. That looks nice. We'll have to come up with a mapping for it anyway, so. It might help me think about it. It might not, but it might. All right, so now we need to build the network. So let's get those scripts on here. Actually, let's recreate those. Delete these nodes. Instantiate some new ones. I want a path grid. Oh, I made the path grid layer. What about the line layer? Path line layer. Class name, path line layer, extends tile map layer. What's wrong with you? Why aren't you offered to me? There they are. Path grid layer. Path line layer. All right, so the path grid layer. So in a perfect world, what it would do is it would scrutinize the tile map that's associated with this battle map. And it would look for... I'll need to catalog these and mark which ones are obstacles. So like a wall would be an obstacle. Or a table would be an obstacle. So you would just associate certain source IDs and certain atlas coords. Probably source ID would be the best. To just have an obstacle source ID. So that we can read the environment when the map loads. And then just set the pathability to that. We're also going to need to set the pathability anytime a character is placed or moved. So we'll need to make a tile set for this. Hey, Nix, thanks for the hydrate. How's it going? We could encode some stuff here. We could do some stuff. We'll add this. We'll add this atlas. Probably shouldn't have put this in the UI folder. I might move it. Guess. All right, here we are. Not texture pad. Did I actually change something? Surviving the last parts of the heat wave. Yeah, I've heard it's been really brutal for a lot of people in a lot of places. Not here. We had one day of slightly warm weather on Sunday. That's about all we've gotten so far. We got any more warm weather coming up? Nope. Gonna be 60 degrees Fahrenheit all day, every day for the next week. Nice and San Francisco cool. You had to wear record-breaking heat day after day for the past while. I wonder what's causing that. Couldn't be global warming. Guess it's just a mystery. All right, so I'm just gonna paint this. So what I could do is a number of things. Kind of want to include this. I think I'm going to start like this. Whoop. Do like this. We'll block out the outline as being impassable. And then we'll just make the interior totally passable. And the A-star grid will use this to build the network. And that's easy. We'll have that be more dynamic once I start making levels that aren't just big empty rooms. I have an idea for how to deploy reinforcements that I want to check out, that I want to evaluate. Why does it look so dark? It's so much brighter here. Why does it look so dark here? Oh, it's because I'm in tile map drawing mode. Probably. Yeah, that's better. Head out. All right. Take it easy, Nanigans. What resources you used to learn Godot? I just kind of messed around. Game jams. Do some game jams. Read the docs. The documents for Godot are really good. There's even some little tutorial games in the docs if you want. Like go to the docs.godotengine.org. There's some good resources for getting started. They have a 2D game tutorial that you can just do. It's really simple, but it gets you the hang of things. They also have a 3D version. That's the same thing. Other than that, there's tons of sources. There's tutorials. Like Brackeys has a good one. Brackeys. Brackeys. Who is a famous YouTube tutorial or a Unity tutorial creator. Jump to Godot. But yeah, go through the getting started section of the Godot docs page. I would say read the whole manual, but you know, only certain people want to do that. I'm in that group. I think I read the whole manual when I started, which didn't help me very much, but you know. Yeah, Godot has great resources. You can even what's really neat is you can tell them how much expertise you have, and they like tailor the amount of, they like take you to different parts of the docs, which is neat. So you can be like, oh, I know how to use Unity, but I want to know how to use Godot. Or it's like, oh, I've never made a game before, but I want to learn how. Yeah, I've never made a game before. I want to make a game. You can start here. But I know how to make a game, but I want to know how to use Godot specifically. You can go here. Really great. Really neat. Hey, Snicks with this 5-stream streak. You remember Brackies? You used to watch them a decade ago. I know, they came back. They came back. How's it going, Void Kept? You're having a fine day. Oh, I should have kept that page up because you know what we need to do? We need to read about tile grid. No, A-Star Grid 2D. I don't love this. This is maybe the one thing that I'm like, why is this how this works? There's like a search bar here, but if I click it, well, now I'm here. Kind of weird. But whatever. It looks like a pop-up, so my brain just like instantly closes it whenever it happens, even though it's literally the only way to search. But yeah, I do this all the time. I'm like, get out of my way, pop-up. I just want to search. Yeah, A-Star Grid 2D is what we're interested in right now. There's really not much to it. It's gonna be pretty nice. So we need to set diagonal mode. Heuristic Manhattan, heuristic Euclidean. Okay, so we use the Manhattan if we set diagonal mode to never. So we need to remember to do that. Cell shape. Rectangular. 0. Cell size. The size of the point cell which will be applied to calculate the resulting change update needs to be called 1, 1. Okay, I see. I kind of want to tell it to use the Manhattan. Do I have to tell it that? Yeah, I do. So we need to set these 3. Jumping enabled. Enables or disabled jumping. So currently, toggling it on disables the consideration of weight scaling. I don't think we really need weights. Maybe we do. Maybe there will be like a mud tile or something and it costs 2 movement to go through or something like that. All right, take it easy, Nix. You just use the docs within Godot itself by pressing F1. I like that. This is a little bigger. This is a little bigger. I'll also read them from within here too. It's kind of neat that you can just read it within here. And you can obviously do this to make it bigger, but it depends. If I'm in the middle of coding something, I look it up in here. If I'm reviewing something, I like to have the whole page. But yeah, there's no shortage of options. All right, so we got our path grid layer. So this is the layer that's going to actually do the pathfinding part. And then the path line layer is going to have the same tile set, which we should save if we haven't. Save as, let's call this the path grid line tile set. I do need to organize my resources a little better. And we'll use the same tile set here. Path, grid line, tile set. And then this is where we're going to draw, you know, the actual pathfinding. Like we might start here, then we go here, then we go down, and then here, and then there. And yeah, I guess that looks all right. Not sold on the orange, but I think I'm going to do it for consistency. For now. Not what I wanted to do. So yeah, so we'll have the line drawer and a grid, an actual grid, pathfinding grid thing. So let's start working on the pathfinding grid. So we'll say variable A star grid 2D is an A star grid 2D. We actually have to declare this one, I think. If I remember correctly. So we'll declare it and then we'll initialize it. And this is, see, this is maybe where I do this and bring it up in the editor. Now it's easy to bounce around. So what they do is they set the region. We need to do that too. We need to make sure that this is totally lined up with the outer layer. Okay, it is good. So our pathfinding area is going to be one tile larger than the usable battle map. And there's going to be something about that for fleeing and arriving. I think what we're going to do, because we talked about like, so we have a deployment area for the beginning of the turn. Like I grab my knight card and the game is like, please deploy here on the left side here, right? This is for, you know, the initial, you probably won't even have cards at this point. This will probably be, at first it'll be like, play the hero cards, you know, or deploy your already played heroes. Like, let's say you win a combat, and let's say that your knight is still, like, survived. Like, it survived the combat, and, like, maybe he has half health or something. When you get to the next combat, he'll still be in this roster, and the game, before you do any card draw or anything, the game will be like, you need to deploy all of your heroes from the last combat. And that at that point, that's when you would play here. But if, like, let's say in the middle of the match, you, like, draw another character and you're like, oh, I want to play this character. I kind of don't want you to be able to just play the character on... I kind of don't want you to just be able to play it anywhere. That seems kind of OP. What I want to do is I want to have some, like, doors or openings or something like that. Like maybe a gap in the forest or a door in this wall. And you can play the character onto that door. And then the character will sit there until like the end of the current round of combat. And then it will get added into the turn order on the following turn. Probably the top of the following turn. So I want something like that. So you're going to need to be able to... Oh, I'm going to need to be able to place things on there too, huh? I have to redefine my concept of the boundaries here. But we'll get to that soon. What I really want to do and what I need to start doing, once I have this basic combat demo done of like, there are some enemies, there are some players, characters, we can go through a turn. characters can move, enemies can move. Like once the basic demo is up of like, here's what a round of combat looks like. I kind of want to start from the beginning. I don't mean throw anything away or start over or anything. I kind of want to start from the new, like a new run. Like I want to start from the top of like, pick your characters, draft your initial cards. Like I just want to start where you start. I want to start where the player starts. I do want this basic stuff to be figured out first because it's going to affect everything else. But hopefully we can get this done in the next couple of weeks. So we can actually just focus on the run, on what the run looks like. Organize it that way. I saw someone else who uses this art set. Thornity was playing one of their games, and I'm like, oh man. I need a game to not blow up while using this art set in the next like year. There's a few games that use this, but I don't think anything particularly huge uses this art set. And I'm just like, concerning. All right, let's get back to what I was doing. Yeah, I also think it'd be cool if enemy reinforcements can appear in the doors as well. I think that'd be interesting. I think that'd be an interesting way to get people to come in. I'll have to decide where I put the doors. It might make sense to just put them like here and here, here and here, or something. Maybe one or two here in the middle. It's a little tough because I haven't left myself a lot of room. Maybe a door here and a door here or something like that, just so they're not absolutely next to each other. Although they probably would be. Oh yeah, the discard blocks. So maybe it will be a door here and a door here and a door here and a door here. I don't know. We'll see. Or I'll try to get some more room, find some more room. You should be able to hide this away, the turn order, if you don't want to see it. So we make our A-star grid 2D. Then we need to... I'm going to close all of this. Can't see. Can't see what I want to see here. There we go. So we'll set the region. Yeah, I need to change the bounds to be a rect 2i. Right now it's just a vector 2i, so it starts at 0. I mean, I guess I could just move it over and still have it start at 0. I have to adjust some things. Some things need to be adjusted. So let's do it kind of in their order. Let's say A-star grid 2D. Kind of want to shorten this to just be A-star. We'll decide. We'll see if I get annoyed at it later. Region equals rect 2i. We're going to say -1, -1. Do I have to declare it as... Okay, 4 individual values. So it's a lowercase I. And then I think it's 9, 9. No, that's not right. 6, 9, 6. Cell size. When do I call update? When do I need to call update? Update. Updates the internal state of the grid according to the parameters to prepare to search the path. It needs to be called if parameters like region, cell size, or offset are changed. Is dirty will return true if this is the case, and this needs to be called. All point data will be cleared. All point data will be cleared. Okay. What's an offset for this? Offset of the grid shall be applied to calculate an extra point. I don't quite know what that would be used for. That's okay. All right, let's set these. So we need to set the defaults. Default compute heuristic, default estimate heuristic. Star grid 2D dot cell size equals vector 2i 1. Is this just 1 1 to start? Can I just leave it at 1 1? Yeah, okay. So I don't need to set that. So we'll say a star 2D dot default compute heuristic equals. I don't know what Chebyshev is. We're going to go with Manhattan. Oh, I wanted compute, not estimate. Let's say a star grid 2D dot diagonal mode. Never. A star grid 2D dot update. Okay, so we build the grid. Super simple. We don't have to define any. Stop opening the tile set. Why? Why do you insist on doing that? Why is it that every time I save... Oh, is it because this is open? Like, leave me alone. All right. Okay, so now we'll iterate through the region. I might set a region. Also, I'm defining this rect 2i wrong. Because it's position, then size. Right? When I create it. Position, then size. Yeah, I was defining it as a bounds, which is wrong. Yeah. I think it's just because this was open. That was annoying. Let's say grid. I'll say region. So the size, so it starts here, and it needs to be 11 by 8. That might even rise to the level of a const. Then maybe it's not because it's a rect 2i. Oh, it probably could be. That's not something we're going to be able to change very easily or often. Okay, so we do this, and now what we want to do is we want to say for cell vector 2i in a star grid2d.get used cells. That's it, right? Or is it just used cells? Properties. No. I could have sworn there was a used cells field. I can't find it. It's fine. Can I iterate a rect2i? I guess that's an A star 2D thing, not an A star grid 2D. I guess I could read the region. I don't think that would help. Oh, the tile map. The tile map has to get used cells. Duh. That's a little bit greedy, but should be fine. Oh man, we are just chock-a-block for grades today. Nicholas Peton. How's it going? Happy Tuesday. Raid alert, everybody. How's it going? How was the stream? You can give that shout out. I'll show you where we're currently at. Let me spell your name right. Look at you, Howard Raider. Hey, QRT. How's it going? It's going good. We're pretty okay with how the card playing goes. So we can play our cards. We can deploy our knights onto the battlefield. We can equip them. I can give this guy a spear. I can even level up the spear. So now when I swap weapons, it'll discard as a higher level item. We can give him different equipment. So the card playing stuff is going pretty well. We need to work on actually using these on the board during their combat turns. That's what we're working on right now. So we're working on a movement system so that I can click this little guy and then move him around the board based on how much movement he has available. Get the little battle stuff working. Your stream was great. You did more chatting than game dev. That is streaming. That is streaming. There's a cost, but it's worth it. All right, so we get each cell. All we really need to do is we need to say if get cell. Do I need to get the tile data? I just want one little piece of information about the cell. That's the easiest way to do that. I can get the alt tile. I can get the atlas chords. That's what I do. So we'll have another const, and it will be, say, solid. And this will be a vector 2i. And right now, 3-3. That's what it is. Oh, project. We'll say if get cell atlas chords cell is the same as solid. And what we'll do is we'll say A star grid 2D dot set point solid. Oh, I need the ID. That's fine. Get ID A star grid 2D dot get ID. Get the, oh, how do I get the ID? I don't want the ID path. I just want the ID. Is that not something? I see why we did this with A star 2D and not A star grid 2D and other projects. This version is very limited, but you know what? It's probably fine. The only thing is it's not clear how I get the ID out of this. Oh, the ID is a vector too. Oh, good. Oh, good. Okay. That's confusing. Because in the other A star implementations, the ID is not a coordinate. It's a separate index kind of thing. And you have to convert between them. But it seems like for this version, it's just the coordinate. Okay. 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 I got it. I'm going to say cell then. I don't think we need to update. Calling update is not needed after this call, the call of this function. That is excellent because we're going to do this all the time. In fact, we even need a hook. We need a hook into this from here. Set point solid. Say cell. How do I want to do that? Maybe it'll be toggle. Yeah, it can be set. Just keep it simple and consistent. Set point solid. ID solid. We're going to use the same naming convention, and this will just be a hook from outside. So you don't have to know the A star grid 2D. That's like a dumb. What is this called? Solid. Okay. Solid. Cool. I don't really want to do I don't want to do particularly much except wrap this A star grid 2D. I'm not going to let stuff walk over or overlap or anything, so there's going to be a lot of updating of this info, which is fine. I actually should loop that in here. So whenever we do something like move a tile, yeah, move tile fig 2. Do all of this, and then we'll say path grid layer set point solid. Have I not added those? I hate that I have to do this part where I have to say, this is this. I swear it's one of these. This is a path line layer. Oh, we just got back from ads. Welcome back, everyone. We're moving a little slow today. That's okay. That's okay. It's getting done. Getting done eventually. I'll work on this more tonight. We still got another hour though. Don't be disheartened. I would love to get basic movement up in the next hour. That's going to be our goal. Try not to get distracted. Set point solid. 2. Oh, hold on. I can't actually set this stuff yet. I do need to do it in this order. So we'll set where they're coming from as not solid anymore. False. Path grid. I could even do this a little differently and like have a single hook point, a hookup that handles that whole thing. But what? I'm not gonna do that. We're not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. We're just gonna be simple. Keep everything simple. It's really important to keep everything simple. I always have this. There's some clever part of my brain that's like, oh, but you could do it this way and it would be more elegant. It's like, no. Wasted all of last weekend listening to that version of me. It's terrible. All right. I don't actually use this function yet, but we will. We will. And it will update the pathfinding information for us. So there's going to need to be some kind of preview. A preview thing again. Oh, maybe not. Maybe we don't need a preview. Maybe we just need the arrows. The arrows should be good. We'll need to know if we're in like path preview mode, which is fine. Close this tab. Close most of these tabs probably. All right, so we got our grid. The grid is set up. That's all it needs. It needs almost no information. It's pretty incredible. And what we need to do, so the way I hooked it up in my other system, and this is probably where hopefully my previous learnings will. So we had a whole mapping system of ID to map and then map to ID. We don't need to do that here, which is neat. I think the path view will always be on in this case. It's not like a debug thing. So we have get ID path, which gets you just a whole path to where you're trying to go in steps. We can also get the next point. The way I wrote this was more for something in real time where you're like, you set a path and then like it was for bare necessities, right? So it was like Bernard would slowly walk towards somewhere and then walk somewhere else and then walk somewhere else. I actually think I can demo that. I actually think I got that version of it working. Let's see. Not that a demo of bare necessities is very quick. But I think I got it working. Do I have to turn on the path grid? Pick grid, path grid. Oh, maybe I didn't demo it. Where's the demo for this? It's probably here. There's a test scene, isn't there? Yes. Okay, here we go. No, that's the Trace 2D test scene. Yeah, okay. So here's how it sort of should work. Define a main scene. I just want to play this scene. So does this not work? Nope, so much for the demo. This is what I get. This is what I get. Forget it. We're doing it differently anyway. Oh, view path needs to be on. That would help. Nope. Still nothing. Okay, well, forget it. The test is busted. Just gonna close that project and this project. All right, so all we need to do is get the path. We don't need to do this incremental follow along the path and like get the next point and whatever. This is like a turn-based game. We might do a cool like we might do like an interpolation when you click down so that the character like slides over there instead of just jumping. But for now we'll just do a jump. Oh yeah, is jumping enabled? Oh, we want weight scaling. Never mind. We're not going to turn jumping on. It just made me think of it, though. So getting an ID path is the same as getting a point path. Get point path. Point path returns an array of dictionary. Returns an array of dictionaries with point data. Oh, that's point data. I don't want point data. Get point path. Packed vector 2 array. I don't want that either. I want ID path. Yeah, get ID path. If from point is disabled. Okay, like if it's solid or disabled. Is there a difference between being solid and disabled? I don't think so. I think their docs just borrowed the term. No, solid is just is basically interchangeable with disabled. So we just get ID path from to. So if it's an empty array, an allow partial path is true and to ID is solid and search may take an unusually long time to finish. Okay. So we just have to check to see if the array is empty occasionally. And we can't start a search from a solid tile, so that's also interesting. So we'll have to make the doorways not solid. The doorways will have to be not solid. Oh, unless we just... So I think the doorway thing could be really interesting because we could do a thing kind of like in Into the Breach, where in Into the Breach you can like strategically block characters from arriving by, you know, standing on their like bug holes, or even better, getting like pushing an enemy onto their bug hole so that the aliens can't like come up through the ground. I'm thinking of doing something similar with the doorways, where like maybe there's a skeleton in the doorway and you're like, I don't want to deal with one more skeleton. So you try to like push a skeleton in front of the doorway, or you yourself stand in front of the doorway. I think that would be interesting. That does mean that enemies will be able to do that to you as well, which could be very frustrating. We might have to prevent that on like an AI level. It would really suck to lose because, like, the enemies just happen to be standing in front of the doorway. Well, maybe you wouldn't wipe. Maybe you wouldn't wipe if you have some characters in the doorway. Unless they happen to die in the doorway. That's an interesting idea. We'll have to think about that. But let's focus on the path the path. Let's focus on the plan in hand, which is a path related. Plunk. Get ID path from ID to ID. This returns. Did it say it was a packed array? No. It's a regular array. I'm not going to allow partial paths, so I'm not even going to take that as a parameter. So we'll say return a star grid 2D. I actually am going to mark this as an internal variable. I don't think that's normally done in GDScript. I certainly don't normally do it, but I'm going to do it. I do not want people to be just raw, grabbing the grid raw. I know I could do that, and it would be probably pretty straightforward because these are really lightweight wrappers, but I just don't want to. This is going to be a really lightweight pathfinding. Feels late. I know I started really late. Feels late. Late is good. I think late is good. We've gotten a lot of raids. I think later is better. But I don't think I'm going to change my schedule right now. But later does seem to be better. Maybe we'll run later on Friday since it's a day off. The holiday. It's an observed holiday. It's not actually a holiday. It's an observed holiday. An important difference. Hope everyone's having a nice Tuesday. Appreciate people hanging out here. All right, so we can set a point to be solid, which we need to do anytime we move. Or deploy. We also need to do that when we deploy, huh? Let's go back. Let's go back and do that. I'm actually going to turn on this layer. Oh, good, it's already on. I'm going to turn this layer on, and we're just going to see if this effect is manifested. And then the pathline layer is going to need to talk to the grid layer and figure out how to draw the paths. Feels like I'm using a different blue. My little custom icon. I'm letting myself get distracted. All right, so when we drop a card... No, not when we drop a card. Just when we create a character figure. We need to do this. We need to say... Do this here. Say path, grid layer, dot set point solid, cursor map, true. All right, let's just see if that goes through. So if I play this knight, under the deployment slot. Can't actually tell if it became orange or not because it's behind the thing. Let me hide the fig. Nope. Okay, so it didn't change. Oh, but if I want it to update itself visually, that's a whole different thing. I'll actually have to tell it to do that. Well, that's a good reason to have it be a wrapped function. Set point solid, so we can do this, and then what we can do is we can say set cell ID 0. No, ID 0 solid. That should work. So now when we drop this, if I look behind this guy, okay, good. All right, so we set the tile to be solid. So now you'd have to find around this guy. That's good. It's a nice thing about using tile maps for that stuff is it's very easy to visualize what's occurring. Kind of nice. Kind of nice. All right, so now we need to actually get an ID path and start doing some of that stuff. Okay, so we're going to ignore movement limitations right now. But I'm going to add that to the line layer. Eventually. Because it's going to need to know. All right, so what does the line layer need to do? The line layer needs to know about its buddy. And in fact, I'm going to make these unique just to make it easier for that. So you need to know about your buddy. And I guess you might actually be doing things in process. Who owns the path? Who owns the path? When we ask for a path. Do we ask it from the grid? Do we ask it from the line layer? I guess that's why I could have just had a parent, some kind of parent object that was the actual path finder. Then we wouldn't have to care about this stuff. So what we should do oh, there's also multiple of these. There's actually going to be more than one line. Unless I have one line for enemies and one line for friendlies. Or one layer for enemies and one layer for friendlies. Because each enemy... The enemy that goes next is going to display its intent, which means if it's moving, it's going to show you the line that it's going to use to move. And that needs to update in real time if the path changes or something. But only if something actually happens, like a character moves themselves into the way of the path, which causes the AI to like recalculate what it's going to do. We wouldn't preview that change. But that does mean we need more than one layer. That's fine. We'll just add a layer for the enemy. We're not going to worry about that right now. What I do need right now is I need some kind of dictionary or something that describes this movement, that describes this motion. So this would be from 0, 0 to 1, 0. This would be from -1, 0 to 1, 0. Only some of these are valid. I'm tempted to make a dictionary. Yeah, let's do that. I'm just gonna make a dictionary here on the line layer. I'm afraid of making it an export dictionary, because that's how data gets lost. But maybe we'll do it anyway. This would be path atlas coords. Be a dictionary. It would take a vector 4i and it would give you a vector 2i. And if we look at our little stupid thing down here, we'd fill it out as such. So if we look, if I blow this up so we can see it. So tile 1 here, which is atlas coord 1, 0. This is for a path that starts at 0, 0, meaning it's a path that begins here. It's the beginning of a path. Should these be backed by black tiles? I think they maybe should. Just so that they cover up what's underneath. That's maybe cleaner. I'm not going to do that right away, though. So this would be 0, 0, and it's going that way. Well, that way. So it starts at the origin and moves to the right. So it moves 1, 0. So we can take the from and the to, smash them into one vector 4, and then from that we can know what the atlas coord is going to be. And so this is coincidentally 1, 0. It's going to look super jank in the inspector. That's fine. Actually, is my inspector too small? It looks a little too small. Well, that doesn't actually help very much. Can't actually read the entries on this. We're not going to do this as an export variable. I can't read it. And B, I'm afraid of it. I'm afraid of it dying. So instead, we'll just type it in. So we said 0, 0, 1, 0 matches to 1, 0. Okay, then the next one is from -1, 0 to 1, 0. That one is vector 2i, 2, 0. -1, 0. Or no, this would be 0, 0 to -1, 0. It's a little tedious, but it'll get us what we want. Get us what we want. Oh, 0, 1. Oh, it's not 0, 3, it's 0, 2. So why did I do it in this order? It's a weird order I just did. Oh, you know what? There's some mirrors here. We gotta do the mirrors. It's gonna be kind of annoying. That's okay. So like the circle ones in the middle, they could work, they're bidirectional, right? So it'd be like we could either come up from below and head off to the right, or we could be coming from the right and then heading off below. So we need to actually record both of those variations. So we'll say 1, 0, 2, 0, 1. And we need the opposite of 0, 1, 1, 0, and we need it to be mapped to the same value. This will be nice. This will be nice to have later. We won't have to worry about this stuff. Kind of annoying now. It's one of those things where you'd be like, but wait, Dave, what if you had a different, what if you swapped out the tile set at some point? Don't you want a dynamic thing that like can map? Like, no. We're pretending this is a jam game. I think this is a jam game. That's part of the reason why we polish stuff so much before we move on from it right now, is we really are taking the approach of like, just get the thing working, just get the minimum, just get it to where you want it to be, so you can just leave it and move on and not worry about it anymore. Because man, the task switching is like really brutal. In game dev, it can be, especially when you're a solo dev. This is from 10 to 00. This gives us 3 1. Oh, not for 1 0 0 0 0 1 0 0. I keep mixing up my X and my Y. I should have ordered this a little better. That's okay. I actually see it. I see how this is arranged. And I'm actually going to move things around a little bit. It's sorted by the value, not the key. And that's how I'm going to iterate it. If you look just at the key, you're like, this is total gibberish. But if you look at the value, it's, you can see what's happening here. Really hope I don't run into any duplicate keys. That would be deeply unfortunate. I don't think we will. Okay, almost done. All right, there we go. Fully mapped. So now we just feed a key of from to, and that gives us the Atlas chord for the line layer. That should be good. That should be good. It's going to be an array of vector 2i. So each frame we're going to clear. We're going to say if ID path. So an ID path, you get the starting one as the 0th. index. So we just say if ID path whatever, we just say for ID in ID path. And then all we have to do is say set cell ID well, I guess do I need to do one? Do I need to do the first step? Do I need to distinguish between that? I need to do something. Here, we actually have to say, we should do something a little different. Say for IDX in range 0 to ID path. Here, we're going to say if ID path dot size, well, we'll say if ID path and ID path dot size is greater than 1. We say for index int in range 0 ID path dot size minus 2. And what we do is we say set cell here variable ID vector 2i. Say from ID vector 2i equals ID path IDX variable 2ID vector 2i equals ID path IDX plus 1. And so we set cell. The coordinates are the how do I imagine this working? So if I'm here and I'm going there, we pick this one because I'm at from 0, 0, and I go 2. And if we're here, and it's from -1, and it's 2. Oh, I need to know 3 coordinates for this to work. That's fine. I need to know where we came from, where we are, and where we're going. I mean, that's not that bad. That's not that bad. Probably just have a special use case for the first one. Okay, so let's start with, let's say we start at 0, 0, and the first thing of this point, the first point in this path is 0, 0. And we go to 1, 0, and then we go to 2, 0, kind of like it's drawn here. Let's just handle this basic line. So actually what we want to do is we want to know where we are, and then we subtract We get two relative coordinates. We get the coordinate, the relative direction from, and the relative direction to. And we do that by subtracting where we currently are from where we were and from where we're going. So we'll just have a special use case for the first ID. So we'll say if ID path, we'll say if ID path dot size. Well, we'll say if not ID path dot is empty. Okay. And then we'll do the first. We'll do the first tile. So we'll say variable from ID equals ID path 0. And we'll say to ID I also want current. So variable current ID using from is weird. I'm going to use slightly different terminology. I'm going to have current, I'm going to have last, and I'm going to have next. And we don't want to check to see if it's empty. We want to check to see check to make sure the size is greater than 1. Make sure there's at least 2. Because if there's only 1 point, then you can't draw a path. Because you just are where you are and you're not going anywhere. As long as we have 2 points, we can do it. So we've got our current, our last, and our next. Maybe I can do an iteration as long as I do it right. Oh no, I need to be careful about the first and the last versions of the step. There's probably a more clever way to do this, but again, cleverness is the enemy for us. Cleverness slows us down. We're just going to do this simple. So we're going to say set cell at current ID, source is 0, and then the atlas chords is going to be atlas chords, like this dictionary we made, and then the key will be a vector 4i, and it will be lastid.x. Can I create a vector 4i from 2 vector 2s? Does it let me do that? Nope. What is this complaining about? Nothing is running. I want this to go away. Yeah, I know. Okay, I guess it's because it's a constant. It's actually trying to evaluate this in real time, which is pretty cool. But also kind of annoying. Okay, that should work. That should work. So we get our points, we get our directions, and then we set the cell. I'm going to pause here and actually maybe try to run this. So not if card is dragged. So on our other main branch here, save his cursor in bounds. I think I want to do this in almost any case. Yeah, let's do this in any case. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to say path grid, we're going to say path line layer dot id path equals path grid layer dot get id path. Oh, we need it. It needs to be if. Here we go. So we're going to say if fig selected. We'll do this. We'll say get ID path. We'll say fig selected dot tile map. And we'll say cursor map. Say else path line layer dot id path equal to null. Actually, we're gonna say this all the time, huh? Oh, we can't actually make it null. It's good to know. We can just say path ID path is cursor map. This is going to be kind of busted, but maybe this works. Okay. No errors, also no visible behavior though. Not ideal. Oh, it's only drawing under this. Let's hide the fig. That's not working either. Okay. I want to confirm that it's working at all before I, and not card dropped. Let's just see if we're actually doing this thing. No, okay. Well, that explains something. We're never getting here. Fig selected. Yeah, that should be right. we ever hitting this? Yes. Okay, so we are telling it this. Now let's go here. Let's see what we're getting here. Let's not do what I just did here. Let's just make this empty. I'm going to add an extra. Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to say is empty. I'm just going to do an early return. This is dumb, but this is going to help me make sure we don't have an empty array. Okay, we seem to be only sending empty arrays. So let's debug that. So what's your deal? Here, variable. ID path. Array. Vector 2i. Equals this. Do that, and we're gonna print it. I want to see what this ID path is. It's an empty array. It's only ever an empty array. Interesting. Well, I mean, that's definitely a problem. If get cell atlas chord cell is solid, a star grid 2d dot set point solid cell. We know they're not solid. So why is the ID path from here to there just absolutely not? Oh, because the from path is solid. It's because the starting point is solid because characters are solid. So I need to compute what the first step of the path would be. Okay. That's kind of annoying. I wonder if there's a better way to do that. We could mark that tile as not solid, the starting tile, when we start to compute a path, but I don't love that. I might do that for now. Just so I can see what's going on here. And figure out how to implement that later. It should be fine, though. That shouldn't be a problem. Like, you should honestly treat the character that you're moving from as if they're not solid. We're going to say path grid layer dot set point solid. We are going to set big selected tile map false. We're going to try this. Try this, see if this works. Work around this at some point. Hey, we're getting a... Okay, we're getting a path. So that was the problem with the path. We're still not drawing it. That's okay. Let's do this bit by bit. 10 seconds at a time. This sucks. This is not a good idea, what I'm doing here, but maybe we'll do a thing where when we select a character, we'll mark them unsolid, and when we unselect them, we'll remark them as solid again. Otherwise, we're gonna have a problem. All right, I don't think we're gonna get the arrows because I am running out of time. But we are gonna get something. I'm not gonna do it this fancy way. I'll figure out the fancy way later. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna say set cell. We're gonna say for ID vector 2i in ID path. For each ID and ID path, we're just gonna set the cell. Oh, you know, maybe I do it like this, and then I do the comparison in here, and I do some fancy stuff. Or I just do some boundary checking. Boundary checking would be sufficient, actually. Yeah, I don't need to do a fancy iteration. Set cell ID 0. We'll just use the solid color, so we'll just use vector 2i.0. Let's see if this does something for us. Hey, we pathfinding. You know what I don't love? And this is probably my fault for using Manhattan distance. I don't love that it clearly has a preferred. Maybe I do initiate, like, set a specific start coordinate, because I don't love that it always favors this. Maybe we can trick that. Maybe if I get rid of some of my heuristic setting here. I don't think it will make a difference. Okay, no, it did. It totally made a difference, because now it's using a Euclidean thing from... Okay, this is it. This is what you would want. It's right now it's not constrained by movement limitations. Technically, he's not moving. So I did not achieve my goal of having him be moving by the end of the stream, but we're pathfinding. I'll try to get him moving tonight. I'll have to figure out how to tie in the limitation of movement and how I want to render that. I'll probably just render the path up until where they run out of movement. And maybe if you click and you're not clicking on a point in the path, it won't execute the move. Like, you have to actually confirm that you want to move to there. Okay. Yeah, I need to get the arrows in, but that shouldn't be that hard. And then I need you to be able to actually move. But we're working on it. Some progress. I'm going to wrap it up here because I got to get back to work. I know. What have I been doing the last 3 hours? Apparently not working. To get back to the day job. You should do something when you're outside of cursor range. You should reset those things. But this was fun. Appreciate all the raids. A lot of raids today. A lot of people hanging out. Everyone's pretty quiet right now, but that's all right. Looking cool. Well, it's something. It's something. I'll get that arrow hooked up, and then it will really look cool. Still not sold on the orange shadow for the arrow, but we'll try it for consistency. we get such different behavior for this compute and estimate than the other one, but it's all right. Never diagonal. That's what we like to see. All right, yeah. Thanks everyone for watching. We will be back tomorrow, usual time, hopefully. This has been Party Wipe, the roguelike deck builder where you draft an RPG party. Thanks for the stream. Thank you. Thank you, Jacob. Appreciate everyone hanging out here today. Hopefully we'll just see more and more progress soon as we get things moving. As we get stuff happening. Yeah, I'll do some scheduling stuff tonight, and we'll tomorrow we'll look at a sprint board in Panic probably. Figure out what we want to do. It's time to get serious. Already burnt a month on this project. Yeah. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.